your time to shine in trash talk. It is Trash Talking Tuesday. So you get 30 to 40 seconds at the end of this hour to trash anyone or anything in the world of sports, even one of us or both of us, the odd couple. Rob, who you trashing today?
Trashing the Panthers owner.
Oh,
Chris.
there you go, David Tepper.
Really throwing a drink. I mean, like, what are you doing? I know you're rich, you got money to burn. It's just unbecoming. And the NFL did the right thing too. Come on.
Absolutely.
What are you doing?
Honestly, it could have been worse.
What are you doing? But throwing a drink on somebody and having to pay $300,000. I know everybody say, "Oh, it's jump change," but still, you shouldn't have to give up $300,000 for something so stupid. If there's an issue or something,
you could have just gave that fan $300. They would have probably been much happier.
do you know what I'm saying? Like I just don't understand.
That would have been cool if he had given the $3,000 to the fan. The league had made him give that $3,000.
$300,000.
300, right? 300,000.
But I'm just saying, like
that fans.
What are you doing? Like, really, you're an adult. That's what you do. You're gonna throw a drink on somebody. And Chris, we talk about it all the time. Everybody has a camera. Everybody. Yeah. There's nothing you do in public, Chris, that's not being recorded.
Nah.
What was it?
Know that by now.
Urban Meyer bouncing the girl on his lap at a sports bar, Chris. What, really? You think nobody has a camera on you, Urban Meyer? You think nobody has a camera on you? I don't even get that.
I think, Rob, some people, and particularly Tepper, and Meyer obviously isn't as rich as Tepper, but, you know, he's been in a privileged position for decades, right? As a great football coach, and in those football towns, he gets to do whatever he wants, and everybody loves him, and he's king. So I think, Rob, a lot of people in those situations, maybe if they aren't athletes or entertainers who I guess would get used to it, Rob, but they probably just think they can get away with anything. You know what I mean? Tepper has probably, since he became wealthy, in a lot of cases, you can buy your way out of anything. And that's the only thing that would make me think of why you would do something like this. Or, I guess you can just forget that everybody's got a camera, because that can happen sometimes.
Yeah, I just think if the guy is being unruly or loud or, you know what I mean, disrespectful, Chris, send security over to have him escorted out the building. That's all.
That's what we expect of mature adults.
Right, but if the guy is not, disrespectful or using some sort of language, just voicing his opinion. I'm not like saying James Dolan, if somebody says sell a team, he wants to throw them out of the building. That's not, to me, enough. It would have to be vulgar or some sort of situation like that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm glad the league took action. Like I said, they could have taken more, and I would have been fine with it. But you just can't, as an owner, Rob. And there is, look, even though these guys are incredibly wealthy and that gives them much power, you are also accountable to your fans, though. Because fans can, if the fans want to be like, look, first of all, you put garbage on the field and you're throwing a drink at a fan. You know what? We're done with you. That could cost the franchise all types of money and the league. And so it could really snowball. So you just got to be careful. Hopefully he's learned his lesson. But we will see. All right, Rob, let's move on to Chicago. Now, Justin Fields, the quarterback for the Bears in his third year and really coming on strong. The Bears, he's led the Bears to 4 victories in their last 5 games, including a victory, Rob, over Detroit, which obviously, is going to the playoffs and a division winner. The 3rd seed looks like they'll be in the NFC. And only a 3-point loss to Cleveland, which, is making hay in the AFC.
Did they beat the Lions? I thought they lost to them.
No, they beat the Lions 28-13. They lost to them first by 5.
Okay, that was the one where they gave it away. They gave away their game in Detroit. Remember
right,
they were
and that
winning
was a
that
close game too. Yeah,
Right,
so
right.
so
They've been
they've
winning that.
played
Okay.
even when they've lost, they've been right there, and so they've been playing well. And now, Rob, there is some debate, at least on television, among the talking heads, of whether or not the Bears should just say, you know what, Justin's our guy. Use that first pick they're going to get from Carolina, trade it for, likely with a team that still also has a high pick, and get some other players as well, and then build around Justin Fields as your quarterback, maybe get him another receiver, and things like that. Obviously, just build up the team around him. Or the other option is, should they just draft Caleb Williams and trade Justin Fields? There was some talk today, a report that they could get a second round pick for him. I know their dream would be to get a higher pick, like a first rounder. But
With all the
we'll
teams
see.
that need quarterbacks, Chris, you might get a higher pick for somebody.
Yeah, because I agree. Like Atlanta is a team that he would look good in the black and red in Atlanta, and there's other teams like you said. But where are you on this? Do you think it's actually become a legitimate debate now?
I think it's this. If it is a debate, Chris, then you should move them, because there shouldn't be a debate. If Justin Fields was all that, you wouldn't even be debating whether or not to move off of him. There would be no debate. It should be that clear cut, and it isn't. After 3 years in the NFL, where you'd go, oh no, we have our quarterback, we're set, we're going to go add other pieces. The idea that there's even a debate and there's some people who want him and then there's other people who don't and they want to move on tells me that you need to move on. Because if there were other quarterbacks, Chris, say somehow during the early days of, I can't use Patrick because he already won. I want to say somebody who got off to a good start. C.J. Stroud this year, Chris.
Right.
And somehow Houston got through a trade. They got the number one pick again.
Right.
They're not. There's nobody would say to you, "Oh no, get rid of him and CJ and get Caleb." Nobody, and that's what I'm saying, Chris. It has to be like that to make a move of that proportion. To not make a move, it should be that obvious. And if you're the Bears, who, Chris, we've talked about it for a long time. They've never really had a great quarterback like a franchise quarterback for a long time. And if you pass up on Caleb Williams and this dude becomes that guy, you will never live it down. I just think, like that is,
right.
You better be sure. And I don't think everybody is that sure or 100% sure about Justin Fields. And that doesn't mean he can't play. He doesn't belong in the league. He's not a starting quarterback somewhere else. But whenever you have a chance to upgrade, you upgrade. And I remember in Detroit, I think we've mentioned this before, the Pistons got off to a good start with Rick Carlisle as coach, Chris, and then Larry Brown became available.
50 games.
Right? Larry Brown became available.
Yep.
And what'd they do? They got Larry Brown.
Yep. Well, and Rob, Mark Jackson in Golden State, they were winning 50 games. He was a good coach.
They were already winning.
But they took a risk, and obviously it worked out. Look, Justin Fields has played much better this season. He's had his best year. He is in his third year, and I know guys develop at different paces, Rob. Some guys will develop, they'll need a few years. Some guys will come right in like a C.J. Stroud. And I know he also hasn't been in the best situation. Right? Hasn't had great pieces around him. Hasn't had, the best situation with the coaching staff and things like that. But I'm with you. And we talk all the time, Rob. You and I are not fooled by all the scouting reports that say 5 superstar quarterbacks are coming into the draft every year, right? I mean,
it's phony.
We rave like, oh, these 5, you get one of them, you're cooking. No, you're not. In fact, Rob, how many top picks? Baker Mayfield was having a little bit of a resurgence. Marcus Mariota, the second pick. Sam Darnold, the third pick.
Right.
We could go on and on. Trey Lance, the third pick.
People love Sam Darnold, Chris.
Picks. Right. That just didn't. Zach Wilson in New York, number 2 pick. So Caleb looks great. But obviously, the end of the season, he had some bad moments. His backup went in there in the bowl game, Rob, and threw 6 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah.
Which made you think twice. But I think if you do your homework, you do your due diligence, if you feel as good about Caleb as you did, let's say beginning of the year, you would have thought if we get a chance to get him, great. Then I think you go ahead and get him. Because one, it does set, financially, you've got 3-4 years to find out if this is your guy without having to pay him a lot of money. And Rob, that is like the San Francisco model was, let's get a quarterback in his rookie deal. They thought it would be Trey Lance and not pay him a lot of money because he's a rookie or on that deal. And then we can put great pieces around him. And, it became Brock Purdy instead of Trey Lance, but they obviously have great pieces around him, and they're in a position to maybe win the Super Bowl. So you have that opportunity to do that if you just go ahead and get Caleb. Because, Rob, I know you don't have to pay Justin this summer, but it's coming pretty soon. It'll probably be next summer or the summer after that. And so I just think for those reasons, because I still do have doubts, and most of Caleb's great moments are running the football. His passing numbers still aren't like awesome. 61% completion, Rob, this year, and 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Now, I know he's been hot lately, but I'm just saying it's not like, he's been, lighting it up for 300 yards a game for a stretch. In fact, he's only averaging about 200 yards passing a game.
I don't know how you can look at that and be like, you don't want Caleb Williams. His body of work, Chris, and you're right, the end of the season wasn't great. USC had a lot of issues defensively, Chris, and I'm not saying that they didn't play in it, because when you're down big, you know what I mean? You got to throw every down. The defense knows what you're doing. It's harder. It just is. When you can't run the football and they could tee off on you, basically come for you. But anyway, my point is, I just would not pass up Caleb. He had too much success. If you liked him, as you said before, don't move off of him, because that pick, if you don't take him and he's that guy,
and he becomes like Mahomes or something.
Right.
Yeah.
You will never live that down.
Live it down. And Rob, even in this 5-game stretch where they've won 4 or 5, Justin Fields has 4 passing touchdowns and 3 interceptions. I mean,
that's lighting the world on fire.
Right. They've won some of they obviously won these games, 4 of them, but that's not enough to make me pass on a guy that, 4 months ago, everybody was talking about like he's a generational talent. So I'll take that risk if I'm the Chicago Bears.